everyone, and Happy New Year! Yay! Can you believe 2022 is finally here? Oh, wow. You can imagine. Even with the UpSet podcast, we couldn't imagine what 2021 would have been for the podcast, but we were very blessed with how God was able to use the podcast to not just help us, but so many others. And we're looking forward to all of the wonderful things coming up in 2022. As we did last week, I shared with you that we are reflecting on some of the best episodes of the podcast as we plan for this new year. And so this is part 2 of the best of the UpSet. Please write in the comments, share with us, email us what some of your favorite episodes were. And we look forward to hearing from you. But for now, check out part 2 of the best of the UpSet. Hello, welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the UpSet podcast. We're so happy that you tuned in with us this evening. As I always say, I'm never alone. I always have the crew with me. We're going to invite them on at this time. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello, family.
Everybody.
We live.
We're live. Yes, we have to.
We're hot tonight.
We are live tonight. Everything's happening in real time. As you can see, we have our special guest back with us, Emmanuel. I see you do.
Yep, that's perfect. Yes.
There's poetry in that name. I love that.
Yes.
You got it correct.
Yeah, we're really excited.
May I ask if does the name have a particular meaning, Emmanuel?
Yeah, in Ghana, the way they name people, your name will be able to tell where exactly you're from in Ghana.
Okay.
The tribe that you're from and the region that you're from. So that is how my name is.
Oh, okay. Now I see why so many people call me Nick Gutter.
Yeah, where I come from, it's you're from 22nd in Ontario.
Yeah.
Guys, can we just start the show?
Yeah. That's what we hear, right?
It's called an icebreaker, Pat. Come on, it's an icebreaker.
You know how we could be, Chuck. By the time it's going,
we're
He's so excited.
Too.
He's just excited about everything, and we're happy you're excited. And we want to remind everyone we're live so that we can entertain some of the questions that you may have about tithing. Last week, we kind of broached the subject, and Emmanuel did a great job of kind of educating all of us on some things, but there were a few things we didn't quite get to. We were a little like, we got to do part 2. And so we want to tackle some of those things as well as entertain any questions from all of you. So we also have the call-in number. I'm going to put it up there so you can see it. If there's some questions you want to call in and ask, there's the number. You can do that. But let's turn it over to our lead for tonight. Once again, Pastor Patrick Graham.
Pastor
Take it away.
Yep, here's how it begins. Bring ye all the tithe into the storehouse, and there may be meat in my house.
Exactly.
What's up, Nick? You want to finish that one? You want to finish that one for me?
That I might be able.
Hoop it, brother. Hoop it.
Pastor Appreciation Month. It is one of the longest months, and that's a good thing because we definitely want to celebrate our pastors. So let me ask the pastors, have you felt appreciated this month?
I felt pretty appreciated. My church has been kind, very kind, foods and gifts. So they're very loving to me. I appreciate them much.
Chuck, what about you?
Oh, about me? Oh, yeah. I got plenty of nice phone calls, cards. They had no idea. They had no idea what they were doing.
I love it. GP.
Yeah, I think my church is going to do something at the end of the month. Oh, the last Sabbath, which means this is not live. Yesterday they lavished with love.
Well, if they don't, we're just gonna nod and grin. Like, okay.
It would have been odd if you'd said, "Nah, I didn't do anything."
Hold on.
Right.
It's after they've done it, right?
Right. So it is Pastors Appreciation Month, right?
That's
and not
right.
just a Pastors Appreciation Day
That's
or
right.
Sabbath. So take note,
Right.
churches. Take note, churches. Yeah.
But sometimes they like to surprise you, so they wait till November just to throw you off a little bit.
Yeah,
That's right.
they're building up. They're building up.
Yeah, GP, you're crazy.
Anyway, we appreciate all of you, not just the ones here are part of our Upsetters group, but all of our pastors within Allegheny East and beyond,
Yes.
thank you so much. I know I couldn't do what you all do. So
Hey.
Hello,
Happy
family.
Sunday.
Happy holidays.
yes,
Happy belated Thanksgiving.
yes, happy.
Oh, really?
belated
That
Thanksgiving.
title, huh?
I know. And just so you guys know, we are live tonight. And
We're
so we're looking
live.
forward to your commentary and putting up some of your comments on this subject. As you guys know, we were supposed to talk about this last week, but we just couldn't resist what was happening around us. And so we've entitled this Thanksgiving or Thanks Taking. What do you guys think about that title?
Well,
All right.
you
all
know,
right.
Wonder what
Hope
that
we have
means.
an expert on the line.
I know for Black Friday, I went into a department store and stood in there and said, I discovered you and I took everything and didn't pay for it.
And he still managed to be
What
here
an
tonight.
analogy. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we didn't have to
Yeah.
go to the jailhouse and we were able to show up tonight. So everything is good.
Exactly. And
Sally.
and it is interesting having this conversation after we've all enjoyed our wonderful Thanksgiving meals. And that's not to say there's not a place for that, but we really want to take some time to really dig into this history of Thanksgiving because, you know, we get caught up, guys. We have to admit, we get caught up in what's presented before us. We get caught up in what we're taught in school. We get caught up in what we see in the media. And sometimes we don't take the time to really delve into why are we doing this? How did this get started?
People are waiting.
Slow Sunday, very slow Sunday.
Yeah, not much really happening, especially with our conference. I mean, just, you know, electing 2 new officers.
What? We got
so
new bosses? What?
We have new bosses. Let's see if they let us stay on the air, right? Okay. So
Go ahead and
This is the
repeat the
first
good news.
day.
Go ahead.
so for our president, the executive committee voted Elder Pete Palmer. As you all know, he formerly served as our vice president for administration. And since he left that seat vacant, it had to be filled. That's right. And so the executive committee voted a familiar name, Dr. Marcellus Robinson.
Dr.
to
Marcellus
fill that
Robinson is
position.
back. He's
That's
back.
right. As you recall, he
Okay.
served in that capacity last term, and he was currently serving as our stewardship, philanthropy, and plan giving director. So, congratulations.
So, I mean, I do have a question, Tasha. I mean, so am I to presume from this that I didn't win anything?
Sorry, Sally.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, it was close, but it just didn't go through. We're
They
sorry.
even said you didn't make the top 1,000. I'm sorry.
So cold. Ladies and gentlemen, the ambassador from
kidding.
Alaska chimed in on.
Hey, as long as you can
They
be in
knew
that
you
number
would
with
say
Sean.
no, buddy. They knew you'd say no.
But yes,
Oh,
yes,
gosh.
we congratulate
Oh, that was
new
good.
leaders, and we're looking forward to supporting them any way that we can as we seek to move our conference forward. That's the objective. Let's move forward. Let's move on.
Now,
Right?
for the understanding's sake, I mean, for those who may not know, and I'm not even sure, they are in for the term remaining, which ends when?
It ends October 2022. So pretty much a year at this point.
About a year. Yeah.
1 year.
Unless they
and
move
then
the
we go through
election
that
up.
whole-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't buy a whole lot of green bananas in a situation like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Too much.
Right, all of them that you go into it. I was taught that when I preach, and I still do it, I don't preach in the same shoes that I walk into the sanctuary with. I mean, I have preaching shoes.
You got preaching shoes?
You
have preaching
have preaching shoes?
Yeah. But remember
Who are they
now,
made by?
remember
Adidas? I mean,
The most
no, I
holy
wanna
one.
Can I
You know
find
what?
these on
Preaching shoes.
Amazon?
Now, I'm just done with y'all now. I thought we could talk.
Yeah.
So you walk in.
You
So
know.
Go
Pat,
ahead,
you walk
Pat,
in
be
with
real.
Nike.
Go ahead.
You
No,
walk in
I
with Nikes.
don't. You know what?
No, explain to us
Yeah.
why.
And then you
though.
put
I'm
on dress
sure
shoes to go in the
it's a
pulpit.
No, I don't do it that way. But
Okay,
there's shoes that I
Well,
have
yeah.
that when I'm preaching, I wear those shoes. And let me tell you something.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything to me, but makes me feel that those shoes
Gotcha.
are shoes for God. That's all it does for me. It's not. You don't have to wear it. I'm not
Are the heels higher because
they nice, man? They nice.
Because the Lord is high and lifted up.
Yeah. Are the bottom red for the blood of Jesus?
That gives new meaning to precious soul.
That is regretting.
Everybody
mentioned it now.
I sure regret it.
Okay. Uh-oh. I just had to put that one up.
Hired. We are now looking for a new director for our youth and children at the Allegheny East Conference. Sending your resumes.
And we have a survey that we want to send out.
There you go.
The survey. We'll never look at surveys the same again, will we? So Denise
Don't
is
say
saying,
the S word.
have you considered making this a weekly Sabbath afternoon program? I think it's a great idea.
On Sabbath with Tally? No.
Yeah, but when we prayed about it, Denise, the Lord said, I thought I told you to rest on the Sabbath. And Denise said, I'm sorry, God trumps your suggestion on that one.
No surveys.
No surveys, please.
I'm with Hobson on this one.
We're with you, Joe.
Pat, that's a t-shirt you're gonna have to make. No surveys, like surveys with the X through them, right?
Listen, I got some real good. I wasn't looking at my personal phone. I got some real good questions that came in. We're gonna have to wait for another time. I can't even get on some of these questions that came in.
Y'all they texting you directly?
Directly. Put it in the chat so everybody could see it. You could have come with a fake name. This thing would have gone absolutely ballistic, man.
We will protect your identity. It's okay.
No, we won't.
Look, if we got to be out there, you got to be out there with us, right?
Right. Put it all out. Let it hang. Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
William said working. Yep, working rest on Sabbath. It's a good topic. Can I just say this really quick? I think is she sending signals to her husband telling him?
Oh, let me put it up again. One more time for you, Carrie. Just so
you didn't get Carrie's. You didn't get Carrie. I don't want to get in anybody's marriage or anybody's way. But I think she's telling Chuck to come home on Sabbath and stop serving the constituency.
You know what?
He said, "You know what?
Yeah, that's another show."
That's the uprest. The uprest Sabbath.
No, seriously, that is another show because Sabbath keeping has gotten pretty wild here lately.
And let the folks know that it's okay to have Sabbath sex too.
Okay.
Right. Oh my goodness, see? GP, you're young. You're young.
Come on now, let's talk about it.
GP,
talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Chuck, bring that up, okay, when you get a chance.
I'll make sure that I quote you when I get caught in that situation. There, GP.
As long as you have a wife, Tally, you should be fine.
Okay, now there is that.
So this is why they have this question for you, Marlena. Are you also a psychologist?
Pastor Marlena need a psychologist.
No, darling, I'm a physical therapist and a pastor.
All
of the wisdom that you hear coming from me is from God, but they don't want to hear me, Charlotte. They don't want to hear me.
I thought they were asking, did she need a psychologist?
I think we ought to take a survey as to whether we should do topic go rounds in the future.
I know, right? This can get a little wild, right?
I have a better. This is starting to look like the green room before we come out. So, so producer, can we end right now before somebody really gets fired? Because I really do think Marlena is about to get fired.
That's why I'm still licensed as a therapist. I got my backup.
Hey, you better have your options.
I hear you.
Go ahead, sis.
This has been good.
When we come together as a group, it gives us the strength that we need to be able to be that body. Even though, so let me be one of those horses and stop from running around. Many of what we do is archaic. It is archaic. I mean, even Sabbath school at 9:15 is archaic. 11 o'clock worship hour, as though there's none of the 24 hours in the Sabbath is holy. I mean, where do we get that from? We got that from farmers that used to farm back in the 1800s. Yeah, those type of things can change. But I still love the structure, and I love the 15th, and I love the 30th, Nick.
Now, I noticed the background is different. He doesn't have his hat on. Are you Pat Graham for real? I am not.
It's Paul from the Potomac Conference. I'm sitting in for Pat.
I have a perfectly good skate key in my desk. Most of you don't even know what that is. Skate key was a device that was used for roller skates that would attach to your shoes. Charles, you remember that?
Yes.
And
yes.
I have a perfectly good one in my desk. You know what? It's perfectly good. It works exactly as it was designed. It just ain't relevant to the times in which it is placed.
Right.
Our structure no longer, and the testimony and the witness to it is the last 2 years when a pandemic totally destabilized the structure and decentralized the way we govern and lead ourselves. The tithe went up, which demonstrates that the church seems to like better something that does not exist, which is a new structure which needs to be planned. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Anything that he spoke about today, fans, is him alone. That's his opinion. No, I'm just kidding.
Pat, your plane is already in the hangar.
That's right. Go back out there.
Don't lift it back up, right?
Somebody called the black cat, you know. Thanks, guys.
Well,
And you know what came up as the happiest culture in the world? Country? Finland. And you know why? Because their culture puts the family and the person first.
That's right.
The work ethic second.
I think, Chuck, over
in
there
some
it's like
instances,
4 hours, I think. They're
work. Only, in some of those provinces, they're only allowed to work 6 hours. It is illegal to work more than 6 hours, and it's illegal for your boss to contact you in off hours. In fact, they can be fined. So what they've done is, in their culture, they have put people first, families first. 6 hours, they say. Now, people say, oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly do my job in 6 hours. Well, then there's something wrong with your job.
That's right.
And there's something wrong with your system. And so that will work within the system of the church. I personally believe the church has become so mechanized, okay, capitalistic, that we are following the trends of post-World War I and II ethics of work. And if we don't look at it from the broad scope, we will grind ourselves to dust. And you know what this country will say? Oh, he was a very nice guy. Nice woman. Very wonderful. Next.
Marlena was a good pastor.
I'm watching Chuck. The reason why I'm laughing is I'm watching him work himself in the lather, thinking about all the times that I've seen that light on in his office. 7:30 in the morning.
That's true.
Yes. Drive by 8:30. It's still on. And I said, he is preaching to himself.
Absolutely.
Well,
there's a form of righteousness.
Denying the power thereof.
Right.
Take your text, Charles.
And see, that's why I knew this topic would really jerks my chain, because capitalism started out as a good idea. But then the love of money,
greed,
became the evil.
That's right.
Yeah. And it hasn't stopped.
You're right.
Yeah. And so, as a result of that, there are people, as we are recording this, that are starving because the owners said so.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a part of a system that follows that game plan. There are millions of people who have lost their jobs during COVID. There are a lot of people that are literally on the street. I happen to know 2 personally. And the stock market players, which in my opinion are gamblers. It's a form
we're gonna fight
of gambling.
Chuck, we're gonna fight now. But go ahead.
So while they are gambling and getting rich, you've got the people that they own dying on the streets. I can't accept that.
Wow.
But what about that? What about that says, sorry, GB, don't hate the player, hate the game. I mean,
what text is that?
I'm not suggesting.
One second, Chuck.
Hating the players.
Hold on, Chuck. Don't let her get away with that, Chuck. What Bible did that come from?
I think that was from the book of First Macdadius.
Yo, there's a quote. There's a quote that I love that says, "If you're not at the table, you're on the menu." Right?
Right.
Exactly.
If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So is it wrong to play this dirty game so that you're not at the bottom? Is it wrong, while we wait for Jesus to come, to occupy our time, do all that we can to be financially savvy, to be financially prudent, to make wise investments, to ensure that if Jesus does not come, that my child, but my next generation will be better off than I was? Is it wrong to play the game?
Well,
I think that
totally
That's what I was saying.
That's from First Macdadius right there.
Well, here's my question: when Jesus went into the temple, why did he turn over the tables? What was the main reason that he turned?
Exploitation.
That's it. That's it.
Well, for those of you who recognize that this controversy has been long-standing and ongoing, it hasn't always been that way. The birth of the Christ was not much of an issue for the first 100 years of the church. To be honest with you, birthdays weren't much of an issue for anybody because most people didn't know when they were born. They just know that they were. But ever since the 3rd century, when Sextus Julius Africanus came up with the date of December the 25th as the birth of Christ, and the Emperor Aurelian then made that an official fixation that the birth of Christ occurred on this day, people began to come up with the idea as to what to do to take note of that day. It became the time when people would gather in the name of the Christ. They would mass in the name of the Christ, Christ Mass. Since that time, all sorts of different traditions have come up that are a part of that day, not the least of which the giving of gifts, where we see the wise men coming to Jesus on the day of his birth. Even though that is not biblical, it became a tradition. The idea of a tree, the idea of lighting candles, the idea of decorations, the idea of certain foods that you eat. We have surrounded the day, we've surrounded the celebration of the nativity, the birth of Christ, with all sorts of traditions. And many of our people have lost their ability to enjoy that day, and they often will fixate their lack of enjoyment on words found in the book of Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, where it says, "For the customs of the people are vanity." This is verse 3. "A tree from the forest is cut down and worked with an axe by the hands of a craftsman. They decorate it with silver and gold, and they fasten it with hammer and nails so that it cannot move." People come to this question, this issue, with sincere hearts. And today we're going to talk about whether or not there should be concerns about the celebration of a day that centers in the birth of Christ. Brothers and sisters, or brothers and sister, I hereby toss the ball out into the midst of this august assembly of interlocutors for debate. Shall we continue?
I'm just mesmerized. I just want you to continue. I'm just sitting there like, what else is he going to say? This is
Ted wanted a commercial.
Yeah,
Actually,
that was phenomenal.
I thought
Yeah.
you was gonna end, this was gonna be the shortest show. I thought you was gonna end it right there.
You know, you wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, I think clearly we can all acknowledge that much of what we do with our holidays are rooted in origins that are not Christian, that are pagan. And the question becomes, if something is rooted in a pagan celebration, does that mean that we should dismiss it from our lexicon, from our canon of celebrations? New Year's is pagan. Easter, where a bunny rabbit is caught carrying eggs, really gets pagan. So let's get to it. Is it acceptable for Christians
hold
to
on,
do things?
why stop there? No,
Here's one of my favorite ones. Where and this is going to bother a lot of people because this one still hasn't been exploded well. Where was Jesus born? Anybody have that answer? Tasha is so suspicious of me these days.
No, I was just singing the song, but I forgot it.
It wasn't Camden.
Particularly, where was he born? Everybody knows that he was born in a
manger.
Born in a manger.
Yeah.
And they're discovering that is myth. That Jesus the expression used for Jesus, where it says he was born in a manger, they say that he went to Bethlehem and there was no room in the
inn. It was in the
and there, yeah, Bethlehem was so small at that time there were no hotels. The fact the fact of the matter is the word that
Not
is
even
used
a
for
red roof
inn.
inn.
If you want to compare it, you can take a look at it. The word inn that is used when Jesus talks about the man who was beaten up and left on the road for dead and the Good Samaritan, it says the man took him to an inn.
Mm-hmm.
The word used there is not the word used when it says Jesus was born. Jesus, remember, Joseph was going back to his family's home. Why would he go back and have to stay in the Holiday Inn if he was going to his family's home? The word used is the word kataluma, which means upper room or separate room. And the thinking is that when he got there, they were traveling, they were a little bit late, there were other family members, and that because she was in a delicate way, they put her somewhere separately so that she could have the baby. Now we got cows and goats and everybody else up in there.
You're making people rewrite their Christmas plays now.
And none of that stuff is there. None of that stuff is there.
All right, everyone, that wraps up part 2 of the best of the UpSet. We hope you enjoyed looking back as much as we did. We laugh as though it's the first time or that we weren't even there. Some great topics, some great discussions, some heart warming moments for us. And we hope they were the same for you. Continue to support the UpSet podcast. We appreciate the dialogue and the community that you've created with us. The team is looking forward to gearing back up next week. We'll be back ready to share the latest new topics, so stay tuned for that. As always, reach out to us. We want to hear from you. Write us at upset@aecsda.com. All right, everyone, let's have a great start to this year. Let's set ourselves up for greatness under God's plan for our lives. We look forward to chatting with you next week. But for now, that's goodbye from the UpSet podcast. Take care, everyone. So overtly. So we do have an email address, upset@aecsda.com, where you can kind of email some of your comments that you like us to present to the table, maybe anonymously. We're happy to do that. And so you can email us about some of the things, some of the topics you think. just give it up, Pat. Some of the topics you think we should cover for our topic go around, because we're looking forward to this dialogue, because we're loving the things that we're reading and seeing from you guys. So, all right, that's
next week we'll put up Tally's phone number.
Yep. And we'll allow Pat to have his eye test again.
All right, guys, it's been real. We look forward to upsetting it one more time next week, and we'll have you to upset it with us. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Thanks, guys. Bye.